Hey, it's me, Raul. I'm here in Culver City in a beautiful park that I found. Hopefully, you like the scenery. But the main point of this video today is about economics and politics for vegans. First and foremost, I want to thank Democracy at Work for allowing me to film at a special meeting with Dr. Richard Wolff. He's actually one of my favorite economists, and I'm an economics nerd, so I read tons of business news all the time. I think it's really important, and so I hope more vegans kind of get into that. I think we've seen, or I think a lot of vegans have seen documentaries where it shows how our food choices really shape the actual marketplace. So that means our regular supermarket. So like, this is not mentioning like Whole Foods or these other specialty markets where they'll have all these processed vegan foods or a wider variety of vegetables or like organic foods and stuff like that. We're actually seeing more of these products going into like the mainstream market. So like these big chain markets that you'll see all across the country, they're having more organic foods or even more vegan processed foods as well. So we're seeing that the vegan movement can influence major companies. So even in there's a big meeting that it's for the food industry. It's called the Natural Products Expo. It happens twice a year, once on the East Coast and once on the West Coast in Anaheim, California. All the major companies that produce like vegan products, but also kind of like ethical or organic products, they're all there and they all meet and they show all their goods. And one of the other things though is there's a lot of analytics going on. So the biggest trend for this year was vegans and vegan diets or vegan foods. So we're probably going to see a lot more of a shift from these major companies, even though they might not be purely vegan. They're still going to be trying to tilt towards making more vegan products, which is a good thing overall, because we want to make it easier for other people to become vegan. I mean, maybe they can transition, to all the processed foods, and hopefully they can transition more to a whole food, plant-based diet. But the point that I really want people to get across is like we've seen how vegans can change that aspect of the market or that aspect of economics. So what you'll be seeing from Richard Wolff in the clip shortly is that his focus is a little bit more political. So this is not geared specifically towards vegans or veganism, but I think the takeaway would be that we as vegans really need to be involved not only in the economics but also politics. So we can find a lot of like-minded people, and if they can see how their choices, and Richard will explain it very well. It's like a lot of the main political parties in the United States are bought and sold by corporations that they lobby, which is like legalized bribery, and other ways to or offer them jobs after they get out of office. So there's the revolving door. There's a lot of things that go on that keep the status quo. They keep the status quo. It keeps everything as it is, and actually, it helps a lot of things that we wouldn't necessarily consider being vegan. I mean, we want peacetime economies. I think back in the 1950s, Business Week did a major study showing that economies can thrive in peacetime. So if we're not constantly trying to sell weapons and trying to be at war with other countries, then our economies can do just as well as now. And actually, in wartime economies, we're not seeing the growth that, or we're seeing a lot of people here in the United States, without jobs, and we're seeing a larger percentage of the population sinking below the poverty line. So I would like to see more vegans getting involved with this other aspect of the economy, trying to shift the whole notion of having to maintain the status quo. So we're having a problem with our politicians, and we got to try to change the rules a little bit, so it makes it harder for these corporate politicians to stay in office. So I guess I'll let Richard take it away. He'll give you pretty good examples. But the other point is to be hopeful and basically just keep up working. Keep up the advocacy. All right, I guess I'll let Dr. Wolff take it away. Thank you.
Everybody knows, I'm going to go out on a limb, everybody knows, there's that wonderful song, Leonard Cohen. I don't know if any of you remember it. Everybody knows. If you ever get a chance to hear, and just Google it, you can hear it on the internet. Listen to Leonard Cohen's song, Everybody Knows, because it's about this. It's about other things too, but it's about this. Everybody knows there's something big not working in this society. That's why we elected Trump, because everybody kind of knows. They don't know what to do about it, but they know there's something terribly wrong. And whatever that is, it's not going to be fixed by Mr. Trump. He's busy making more money. He'll do fine at that, and he'll be done. And the next one will come in. So it's our chance. Everything is creating for us opportunities like we've never had before. And in some ways we have to thank Mr. Trump, much as that might be difficult for all of you, because right now he's the best organizer we have.
Yep, that's right.
He is. He's agitating one community after another. He's forcing people to have arguments with one another, to clarify their opinions, to understand what they care about, to be clearer than they were before about the folks that are with them and the folks that are at least not yet with them. That's very helpful to us. All kinds of ways that's helpful to us. I can see it in the people who explain to me why they invited me to come somewhere.